In a world where voices are silenced,
Please.
one man refuses to lie down.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
He's been punted not once,
40 years they've been trying.
not twice,
You couldn't fire somebody if they were horrible, doing a terrible job.
but 3 times.
You're fired.
He doesn't tell you what to think, but gives you something to think about. Welcome to the Bonafide podcast with Luke Bonar. And he's not
All right, here we go.
done
Hold your ears, folks.
yet.
It's showtime.
Hey, good morning and welcome to a funny old world in which we live. Lots and lots to talk about. Welcome to episode 97, the live streaming version of episode 97 of the Bonafide podcast with the millennial in tow. Good morning.
Hello.
And the boys from the Man Cave joining us a little bit later this morning. We'll hear from Adam McDonald, the vice captain, and once again, our good mate Scotty Phillips with their thoughts on what's going on around the world today. I got a new sign behind me.
I know, I was going to say, look at you.
I know, but I'm blocking it out. It needs to go higher.
We're not moving it now. If anything, we'll move the camera, but we're not going to do it right now,
So
okay?
I've got to do this.
Luke, oh my God.
I feel like aggro.
I don't know what that is.
Anyway, welcome, and I hope we find you really, really well and happy. But are you at peace with the world? We'll talk about all of that a little bit later on. Maybe you've been to a council roadside cleanup and you think you've picked up a bargain. Remember, Adam picked up a massive bargain many years ago.
No?
Yeah, he was out with the boy Wonder, his son, and it was a council cleanup that hadn't been picked up yet, and they saw the head of an Astro Boy sticking out of the rubbish.
Oh, that is a good find.
So the young boy Wonder jumped out of the van, went and picked it up. It was half missing, but they put it together. It was an original Astro Boy toy. It was free, and Adam sold it for $3,000.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So another man's trash is Adam's treasure.
Yeah. Now, Luke, who is coming up on the podcast tonight?
Okay. We've got Michael Carr-Gregg, who is one of Australia's prominent child psychologists. Let me tell you about what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Because it's fascinating. I was watching a documentary on the headmistress of a prominent Jewish school in Melbourne who had been charged with a number of sex offence misdemeanors, crimes. And she disappeared back to Israel, and they spent years trying to extradite her to come and face charges. Well, they finally got her back to Australia. There were 3 sisters involved in this, Kelsey, and there's a documentary on it. The first sister, there was her and her 2 siblings. Over a long period of time in court, they gave their evidence. The first sister, this ex-headmistress, and I'll name her in a second, was found not guilty, and they thought, oh, my God, but was found guilty on a number of other charges against the 2 sisters and was then jailed for 15 years. And so because I've watched this, the algorithm has then given me more cases of female teachers having relationships, inappropriate sexual relationships with students.
Yeah.
And I thought, is this happening a lot, or is it the algorithm now feeding me this stuff because I've watched one?
Well, maybe we're just hearing about it more.
No, well, I did some research, and the cases of female teachers, and a lot of them married with children, more and more of them are having inappropriate relationships with students. And I've got a list of a number of them here in Australia and from the United States, and it's a phenomenon.
Yeah. There's a big, I don't know, I think he's a streamer or something in America. His sister, who's been on streams and stuff with him, has just been done for this same thing. It's strange when it's a public figure because people know who this person is and it's very much in the public eye. Just imagine being the sibling of that person. Like, is their career going to be ruined now because of something that their siblings done?
Well, my interest in this started with this very, very long trial. And I said she's been jailed for 15 years, 18 charges of child sexual abuse. Her name was Malka Leifer, Leifer, and she was the headmistress of a former ultra-Orthodox Jewish school in Melbourne. And anyway, so then I've done more of a deep dive, and the sexual abuse is normally happening between a female teacher and underage male students. Now, girls are involved, as we saw in this case with this case against Malka Leifer. But so I wanted to talk to Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg about that. And then I also thought he mentioned that with the unfettered access that young people have now to pornography, not so much now in Australia since December last year with the ban on social media for under 16s, but a lot of young kids, teenagers, impressionable young people are forming their ideas on what a normal relationship is by what they see on pornography. And it's tainted and it's not healthy. You have impressionable young minds who think what they see adult professional performers do is what it makes up a normal relationship. And you have young girls who then are convinced or they believe that they have to perform certain sexual acts that they see in pornography, and they've got to perform that because the boys are expecting it because they think it's normal because of porn. Is porn corrupting young people? Anyway, we'll talk about that with Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg a little bit later on.
And who else? You spoke to Jonathan Kersley this morning.
Yeah, now I'm going to replay that, and you tell me when it's ready. We could play it before the boys join us. I spoke to Jonathan actually just outside the West Wing of the White House just an hour ago because we had Donald Trump threatening to blow the hell out of Iran, wipe a civilization off the face of the earth, open the effing strait, you dumb bastards, and really strong words. And I thought, gee, how diplomatic was all of that? And you and I were both yesterday shaking our head thinking, is this guy mad? I also asked Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg if he thought Donald Trump was mad. And I'll let our listeners...
What did he say? Give us a sneak peek. It's coming out later tonight.
Well, he said he's not qualified because he hasn't met him or examined him.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But he said he's certainly...
Good diplomatic response.
Extremely narcissistic.
Oh, yeah, anyone with two eyes can see that.
But most leaders are.
It's true. You got to have a pretty big ego to be a leader in some capacity.
So anyway, you know the term taco?
Yes, we taught you this term yesterday. I don't know why you're looking at me like you're teaching me something. We taught you this.
And it means?
Well, you tell me what it means, student.
Trump, I wrote it down this morning.
Trump always chickens out. There you go.
Yeah, Trump always chickens out. I talked about that with Jonathan Kersley. I'll replay that soon. Well, now there's a ceasefire brought about by diplomatic help through Pakistan, but it hasn't freed up the Strait of Hormuz. So far, no good, because Israel is still bombing Lebanon, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Iran is saying we're going to keep that strait shut until all of that stops. It's still extremely delicate, but we have a 2-week. So here's the question. Is Trump just a mad, dithering, blustering bully, or was that tough talk very, very clever, and is he a genius?
Oh, I don't know. I will always land on the side of Trump being an absolute lunatic. However, I mean, I guess he kind of reminds me more of like a toddler that's thrown all his toys out of the play bin and everyone's just going, oh, God, just take them back. Shush now, shh, you know?
He's not used to people saying no to him.
No, absolutely not. But I don't know. Don't you reckon that he does outrageous things so people forget about the last outrageous thing that he's done?
I don't know how his brain works, but he has now brought about a 2-week ceasefire, through Pakistan. We're going to see the Strait of Hormuz opened up again so oil can start traveling around the world. Even if it does start, let's say tomorrow, experts are saying it's going to take years to get oil supply back to where it was before this war started. But it is interesting, and Scotty Phillips will have more to say about this in half an hour. The ASX had its best day in nearly 12 months yesterday. When the ceasefire was announced, the share price and everything went up.
Yeah.
It sort of the market said, oh, here's a little bit of confidence. And the ASX had a great day yesterday. So for those of you who've got super invested, you had a good day yesterday. Sell now. No, don't listen to me.
Don't absolutely do not listen to
me.
No. Mum's had to take your credit card access away a couple of times.
She took my phone off me. I'll tell that story later. I had to have my phone.
Why?
Because I filmed you.
What? Oh.
Checking out your.
Gross.
Okay, Kelsey has a problem. She has a number of problems.
Hey.
Kelsey, when she comes over, she has these special glasses with a light on them, and they're magnifying.
They're like
glasses.
medical glasses, and they've got a light on them, and they can make me see in like 10 times. Do not show the video. No.
Post it.
No.
If you want this video posted, let us know, because if we get enough people saying...
You haven't even said what it is.
Okay. Kelsey, and she does it all the time. Nikki sits in her chair. Kelsey comes over and bends over her with her glasses and her light on and a pair of tweezers, and she squeezes Nikki's blackheads.
Yes. It's the best thing ever.
It's gross.
It's like, I can only squeeze the blackheads of people that I love.
So anyway, she squeezes her mother's blackheads, and she's been doing it for years. It's like when you see chimps in the Amazon grooming each other. It's what it's like.
Yeah, that's all right. It's a sign of love.
So anyway, I was sitting next to her and I videoed it. And then I went downstairs and I posted it on the family WhatsApp.
With like 20 or 30 people in it.
And anyway, I if you want to see it, let Kelsey know.
I reckon we could make a lot of money off videos like that.
What, bribing people
love
not to show it?
No, people love like pimple popping videos.
It could be like the Epstein files. We'll bribe people. If you want to, yeah.
No. Terrible idea.
But anyway, Kelsey's got a massive problem.
Now, Luke, I came across something on the internet the other day, and I wanted to show you it. I'm going to show you a video.
I haven't seen this yet.
No, you haven't seen it. I'm going to show you a video, and just keep an open mind about the content, right? Because I'm going to ask you a question afterwards. Okay, are you ready for this? So I'm not going to give you much context. I just want you to watch this and then tell me what you think about it.
This is professional, isn't it?
Hey, we're getting there. Okay.
So this comment says you're a 32-year-old man making Mario lamps for kids in your bedroom. Let that sink in.
He looks like a pretty nice guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like he just kind of spends a lot of time in his garage making these like weird lamp things.
Mario lamps,
right? How confident are you that that's a real person?
Oh, don't tell me it's AI.
That whole thing.
No way.
The guy in the guy.
Play it again.
No, the guy. It was difficult to play the first time.
You don't have, just rewind it.
No, I can. I didn't. No, it's too annoying. That was all AI except for the actual products. So, and I wanted to show you this because I got duped. I fully got duped by this. I thought it was real the first time that I saw it. And then I saw people breaking it down. What is happening is people that mass produce these, just shit, right? Mass produce these toys and stuff. What they're doing now is they'll create, a profile on TikTok, Instagram, and sell it as if they were, someone in their garage just making Mario Kart, like lamps and stuff. And the AI is getting so good these days. And you'll see profiles like this everywhere across social media at the moment, where it is, even for me, I haven't grown up with AI, but I'm pretty in the know with this technology stuff. It fully duped me the first time, and I just thought, if Luke saw this, he would be gone.
Yeah,
He'd be gone.
I've picked
money out the door.
I've picked a lot of AI, especially with ones with babies talking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and cats talking. I've picked that one.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
But it's pretty good. Are we going to get to the point where you don't need movie stars anymore and you're actors in TV ads? And who do you pay?
I don't know.
I know.
I've actually
We've heard that AI can do really good jingles.
Oh, yeah, AI is like bloody great at that. And now it's interesting because there are musicians that are starting to do this type of music called microtonal music as kind of like a rally against AI music, because if AI can make something perfect, then musicians go, okay, well, now we can be a bit more, expressive. It's exactly what happened when cameras were introduced. Painters started going into expressionism and abstract art because, if a camera can take an image of something perfectly, then artists have the free range to kind of go, okay, well, we'll do something imperfectly. And that's what's happening with music as well at the moment with AI.
I reckon Picasso would have had a great time with AI.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think he would have hated it.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. Anyway, thank you for that. I didn't pick it at all.
No, I knew that you would be. I knew that you would struggle with that one.
Have you ever been duped by AI? And if you have some tips, how do you pick it?
Well, remember Scotty Phillips was telling us last week or the week before that, someone had taken his face, cloned it, and then used it in marketing material for some, I don't know, like ETF or whatever that they were selling in the first place.
Oh, it's really, really
I wonder
scary.
if someone, I don't think anyone would dupe you.
Who would want to?
I don't know.
I mean, how do you make this any better?
Yeah.
Great face for radio.
Yes.
If you've got any tips, how do you spot an AI fake? If you've got a thought, please share it with us. We'd love to hear from you. So we've mentioned Donald Trump, and Jonathan Kersley joined me just a little while ago. He from Sky News. He was on literally the front lawn of the White House with a throng of other reporters after today's and yesterday's big news on the ceasefire. Here's another question. If Donald Trump has told the world that he wanted to go into Iran and obliterate them, he said first there were two reasons. One was to take away any nuclear capability that Iran might have had. And it would seem that he's done that. But he said he also wanted to liberate a downtrodden people that had been, massacred by its own government for a long, long time. Nearly 30,000 Iranians killed at the hands of former leadership. If he's that concerned with humanity, why would he threaten to obliterate a civilization? That to me, yesterday, when I was thinking about it, I thought, this has got to be a bluff.
Well, there is a comment here. Apparently on the Midas Touch podcast this morning, essentially they're saying that the ceasefire deal has already been, I guess, blown up. Said after two boats went through the strait, Iran has shut it down again after Israel attacked Lebanon after ceasefire.
Yeah. There's been a lot of talk the last week about the government possibly instigating fuel restrictions. And they were saying it was bound to happen after Easter. Well, it's after Easter now. The government's now come out and said, no, that's not on our agenda, but is it? If things get really... And by the way, the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is currently in Singapore doing a deal with his counterpart there on getting oil shipped to Australia. So good luck on that one.
What's up with the price of petrol at the moment? Is the fuel excise cuts, are they coming down?
Well, they have. They're in place now.
I know, but are we seeing it actually trickle down?
Yeah. We are. And the price of oil got to just below $100 US a barrel yesterday, but where that will stop, I don't know. But are we on the verge of petrol rationing? I don't know. I've seen it happen before. You haven't. It happened in 1979 with the Iranian Revolution, and we had odds and evens. So there'd be people my age who would remember that. But the government's in a tough spot with this, because if they say, look, really be careful, only buy what you need, ban jerry cans, well, that instigates panic. And that's when people panic buy. And if you say there's no panic, no problem, everything's okay, and it turns out that everything's not okay, well, the government's a liar. You can't win.
No, you can't win. Luke, I believe we have the wonderful Granny Sue on the line. So
Granny Sue is in far north Queensland. She's one of our family here on the podcast. I don't know what she's got to say this morning. She's got a bee under her bonnet, has she? Just something else that you're going to hear a lot about is Ben Robert Smith. Just before we go to Granny Sue, Ben Robert Smith is now facing criminal charges. Now, he is Australia's most decorated living soldier. And this is the beginning of a trial that could last 2 or 3 years, Kelsey. But just let me go through a little bit of this. Ben Robert Smith sued a number of newspapers for defamation, claiming that he had committed war crimes whilst in Afghanistan and murdering is now the word used. They claim he's committed homicide, and that's a really important word. War crimes are very, very serious. And the judge in that case, now just remember defamation is a civil case. His case was backed financially by Kerry Stokes, Channel 7. He lost. And the judge found that in all probability, what the papers said was true. So he lost his defamation case. That was not the end of it. That was a civil case. A civil case. A criminal case is completely different. Now, I'm not going to issue an opinion on how I feel about Ben Robert Smith. I'm not going to talk about his guilt or his innocence. Everyone's presumed innocent till proven guilty. I'll stress that. Because I don't want to be accused or charged with contempt of court. Now, there's a Latin word called sub judice or sub judice.
Yeah.
And it means under the law.
Yeah.
And we in this country can't comment on a trial that when charges have been laid and is before the courts, it's called sub judice or sub judice.
Yeah.
Okay? If I did, even though I don't answer to ACMA with our podcast, I still answer to our laws of the land.
Yeah.
So there's a lot I'd like to say about Ben Robert Smith, okay? But if I did... Oh, there's an echo coming back at me.
No, I just accidentally opened.
Okay, so that was your fault.
Yeah. Glitch.
So it's a criminal case. I will bet London to a brick that this will be before a jury. Now, a couple of questions a lot of people are asking. Why isn't this held before a military court? The answer is Ben Robert Smith is no longer a member of the ADF. Even though these accusations happened when he is now no longer a member of the ADF. So when you face a military court, for example, a court-martial, disobeying orders, subordinates, bad behaviour, conduct unbecoming to a soldier, you face a military court while you're a member of the ADF. He is a civilian now, and he faces a criminal court. And the prosecution is the Australian government bringing these accusations to court. Now, that's the way it works. It will probably be a jury because in this country, Kelsey, we believe in open court and open justice where the public should be able to see justice being done. This is where it's going to get really tricky because as happened in the defamation case and is most likely going to happen in this criminal case, there are going to be bits and pieces of information that people will be asked to talk about under oath that could jeopardise national security, talk about secret operations that were going on at the time, and the defence may well argue successfully, this section of the court case has to go on behind closed doors with no media and no public gallery.
Which surely has to be the way.
So it will still be a jury, I believe, that will test this case. It's never happened before. The charges are extremely serious. There's a lot of ambiguity as to what actually is a war crime when you're fighting an enemy with no uniform and absolutely no rules themselves. How do you go about that? That's all I'll say on that. It's going to be a difficult one.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a real difficult one. But that's why it's not in the military court. That's why it is going to be heard by a judge and a jury. And a lot of it, I think, will be discussed and argued behind closed doors because of national security and other military secrets. So Ben Robert Smith.
We'll see. Now, just before you bring Granny Sue up, Rosie has left a comment here. We are being played. The oil tankers off Wollongong have not decreased. The oil was always on its way and paid for well in advance. Suppliers, government and media are pushing a narrative for supply that had a previous price on it. Next crisis will be the farmers and construction going under. And I think that just kind of resonates a lot of what Australians are thinking.
What are we being told? The government is on a hiding to nothing if it says we are really in trouble. Then people will panic.
Oh, yeah.
And then if they say, no, nothing to see here, everything's okay, and they're proven wrong, they'll be called liars.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do?
Well, let's see what Granny Sue has to say.
Well, there's plenty of petrol stations right here where we live that are empty.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what's Granny Sue going to say?
Granny Sue, cooey.
Good morning.
Good morning, my darling. Thank you for calling through. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Getting excited, actually.
Are you?
Getting excited for what?
Next Friday night, this Friday night, I'll be at the Cowboys-Broncos game in Brisbane.
Oh, very nice. How did you swing that, Granny Sue?
Well, my granddaughter's getting married the next day, so we decided to go down a day early and go to the game.
Oh, lovely.
Do you get? You're at Yorkeys Knob, far north Queensland, out past Cairns. Do you get to Brisbane often? And do you call Brisbane the Big Smoke, or is that exclusively Sydney?
We call Brisbane the Big Smoke, and no, I haven't been there for many, many years.
Oh, a bit's changed. So you going to Suncorp Stadium?
Yes, apparently, yes.
Formerly Lang Park. When was the last time you were there? It's changed a lot. It's a bit newer and flasher now.
Never been.
Oh, you know, on my bucket list was always to see a State of Origin decider at the old Lang Park, and I never got to do it. I
don't know what's Lang Park.
Suncorp Stadium.
Oh. Well, I don't know.
Anyway, that's very, very exciting. Tell us about the granddaughter's wedding. What's her first name?
Anna?
And what's his name?
Scott?
See, I shouldn't assume it's a him. See, I'll get in trouble.
No, you won't.
The wokies will jump on me.
Oh, no, you just sensationalise that.
Anyway, what's his name?
Scott.
Yeah, is he a good boy?
Well, yes, I've only met him once, and Anna's mum and dad think he's absolutely wonderful, so he must be okay.
So is Anna the daughter of one of your sons?
Yes.
Which one? Which number? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Oh, right.
She'd be in her 30s now, early 30s.
Yeah.
32, I think she is.
Yeah.
And she's a manager of a big hotel in Warwick and also a paramedic.
Well, you must be very, very proud of her. We want to see photos. I want to see you dancing. I want to see you misbehaving. And
Okay.
And we want a full report when we talk to you next week. You promise?
I promise. I've got to take a lot of photos anyway for all the people that can't get there.
Yeah. Granny Sue, what's the fuel situation up in Yorkeys Knob?
Well, we only have one service station here, and at the moment it's okay. But
Really?
there is quite a few around that are empty.
Yeah. What about the diesel? Plenty of diesel for the farmers?
No, not really. No.
When is sugarcane season?
It's just about to start.
Yeah. And you need diesel for all that machinery.
Yes.
And if they can't get it, well, the price of sugar will go up like everything else, won't it?
Well, how about all the cattle stations that can't get their cattle into market, can't fly the helicopters to muster them? What's going to do to the cost of beef?
You're 100% right. And I've got a question. And can someone please answer me this? And maybe Peter Curry can if he rings in. Ethanol has Australian sugar in it. Why then? Why is ethanol so expensive if we grow the sugar? Is that a fair question? Is that a fair question?
I got no idea.
It's a fair question, but I have absolutely no idea. But I can't. They are talking about using more of it because the sugar's here. But I don't really know.
Well, Granny Sue, we love you very much. Have fun at the wedding. Have fun at the footy. Who are you going for? Cowboys.
Cowboys? What a silly question.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, who are Cowboys?
North Queensland Cowboys.
Oh, just checking.
Jonathan Thurston, that fantastic kick from the side, right on full time. All he had to do was kick a converted goal. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Series 15.
But, North Queensland Cowboys. And do the North Queensland this is for our rugby league fans, do you feel as though they service all of North, because North Queensland's a huge, I mean, you got Townsville, Cairns, Rockhampton,
Yeah.
yeah.
But most of those people, once you get past Townsville, they go for the Broncos.
Why?
Because they're closer to Brisbane, I suppose. I don't know. They always have. And Broncos was the team long before Cowboys were even a thought.
Yeah, that's right. I remember when
Broncos was our Queensland team.
You still feel Bronco-ish?
Well, I go for the Broncos when they're not playing the Cowboys. Put it that way.
I don't get it. But Nathan watched maths all the way through with me, so now I'm stuck watching footy season.
Well, that's good. You might learn something.
No.
Can I just tell you something about the Broncos? I thought it was great when they entered the comp. They were founded in 87. Their first game was in 1988. And in 1987, my team, Manly, won the comp. Paul Vaughton and that amazing team. Well, the Broncos' first game in 1988 was against Manly, the reigning premiers.
Wow.
Now, here's the Brisbane Broncos with Wally Lewis, Alan Langer, Gene Miles. Yeah, it was like a state of origin team entering the comp. They beat Manly 44-10.
Wow.
At Lang Park. Lang Park. It was the first game of the next season playing the reigning premiers, my Manly Warringah Sea Eagles, and they beat us 44-10. And the whole NRL, or was it the ARL, then the NRL, they all went...
NRL.
Yeah, the NRL went, what? This team from Brisbane that's just entered the comp have just walloped a pretty good Manly side. I remember watching it and going, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I don't get the hype. I did not get the hype.
Granny Sue, thank you so much for joining us.
That's all right, my love. You have a wonderful time, and I will send you some photos when I get home.
Can't wait. I want to see them all. And videos.
Oh, God. Now you get technical. Okay.
You're asking for a bit much there.
Are you at the wedding? Are you going to have a little drinky poo?
No, I haven't had a drink for over 2 years.
I know. That's why I was...
Oh, good on you.
She doesn't drink anymore.
Good on her.
She used to, though. God, strike me pin.
Oh, yes.
Did Granny Sue used to call into the night shift drunk?
No, never.
Oh.
No. No, but she's had a wild life.
Oh, yeah.
She's had a very wild life.
Hey, I'll tell you something now. I'll make you a little promise.
Yeah?
When I sell my car, which I'm going to because it's broken down now and they don't know if they can fix it.
Oh, well, who's going to buy it?
No, they're going to fix it and I'm going to sell it without letting anybody know. I'm going to fly down to Sydney and see you.
Yeah!
Oh, hells yeah.
Are you going to come to my man cave?
Of course I'm going to come to your man cave.
All right.
Hells yeah.
We can't wait, Granny Sue.
So what happened to my car was I drove over a speed bump and the spring that holds all the shockies and everything broke. And it's only done 40,000 Ks, so nobody can understand why it happened.
It's nearly new.
Well, yes, it is.
What sort of car is it?
Kia.
Yeah.
You know what?
Anyway.
I think that there should be a mechanic's guide in terms of because
What?
okay, let me finish.
Where are you going?
No, because for me, right, I remember when I was younger trying to get my car serviced and doing all that type of stuff, and I, wasn't with Nathan yet, so I didn't, and I was just trying to, and I actually had no idea what is the actual average price to get like an oil change? What is the average price for this and that and that type of thing? They could have told me anything and I would have had to pay it because I have no. I think there should be like a national book of average prices or something so people have some type of idea of if they're getting ripped off or not.
I mean, if you don't know, some mechanics will just say, oh, Kelsey, I'm terribly sorry. We've done a check and your Johnson rod valve needs replacing.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not the Johnson rod.
Or your blinker fluid's out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Headlight fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you check your oil and water and stuff?
Religiously.
Well, I have a Nathan, so I'm done. I'm sweet there.
No, I'm not talking about, before you had a Nathan, did you do it?
I did it.
Do you want the honest answer?
I used to check it.
Yes, I want an honest answer.
No, she didn't.
No.
No, she didn't.
Well, you see, that was what I told you. I think I told you that it was part of my job. So I do mine all the time, and I've always done it all the time. And I've got a fair idea of what it costs and how much is needed for a service. So I do have a little bit of an idea.
Because you've lived a life.
The only way you're going to know is by getting out and doing the stuff yourself.
Yes, Kelsey.
No.
Do you know how to change a tyre?
Yeah, I know how to change a tire.
Do you?
It would take me a while, but I would get there.
Granny Sue, this is a topic we can bring up on the Man Cave while you're here.
What?
Should they teach basic car maintenance at school?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Life skills. How to make an egg. How to cook an egg.
Yeah.
Basic car maintenance. It should be taught at school. But everyone belongs to a service now, like the NRMA.
That's got nothing to do with it. That doesn't service your car. All it does is take it to the garage. You've still got to get it serviced.
That's exactly right. And one of the main things is your cooling fluid and your oil, because cars with low oil will blow up. And you know what? If you follow the manufacturer's directions on oil changes, they'll say, every 20,000 kilometres. That gets you through to the end of warranty. I change my oil 10,000.
I honestly have no idea what the hell you're talking about, to be honest.
See what I'm talking about?
Mine was 10,000 Ks or 12 months.
Granny Sue, we're going to let you go. Enjoy your footy, enjoy your beautiful granddaughter's wedding, and we want to see photos, and we want the whole story next week.
Oh, no worries. I will talk to you then. Have fun. Bye.
See you, my darling. We're going to play some music.
No, yeah. Luke, we have a new song for the Man Cave.
Is this our transition music to the boys?
It will be, but I want to hear your reaction first, right?
Okay.
This was made by the Parody Masters, or parodies by the Dashboard Light, Kim Bell and Sean Carmody. I hope I've said that right. I find that name difficult
To say.
And it's a new jingle for us. So let me get it up. I'm going to play it for you.
Yeah.
We're going to hear a little bit of it, and then we'll go transition into the Man Cave.
The Man Cave. Adam McDonald
But
from Evans Hastings.
we're not there
Scotty
yet.
Phillips from the Motley Fool. I'm excited.
I know, but you got to.
I'm excited.
I know, but
to have someone else to talk to.
Hey.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start playing the song, and I'll just play a little bit, and you can tell me.
Okay, we'll
what you
play
think.
it.
I'm getting there.
As they used to say in Romper Room, ready, please, Mr. Music.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Welcome to a show called The Man Cave. Man Cave. Owner on the mic, it's a good day. Good day. Adam McDonald and Kelsey too. Thomas behind the scenes, producing all the goods. Have a good time on a Friday. Or anytime you tune in anyway.
What do you think of that little sneak peek?
Well, they didn't mention Scotty Phillips.
Well, he's not always on the Man Cave. Get off it.
I wish he was. We should say Adam and Scotty, we are there, and it doesn't matter because they both got no hair.
Oh my God, you're not making edits of the song after it's already been made.
While he drinks from his cup, we're Bonafide and busted, but you let him stick around. Through his chilly meltdowns and his bulletproof head sound.
Well, it was just 24 hours ago where Donald Trump, the leader of the free world, was threatening to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages, saying a whole civilization will die tonight. Open the effing strait, you bastards, etc. And we thought, how unhinged is this man? We now find that there is a 2-week truce and more negotiations underway. Is this guy mad or is he a genius? Jonathan Kersley is Sky News bureau chief in Washington. He's there with us right now. Jonathan, wow, what's going on?
This has been an extraordinary conflict that has seen global economies suffer, and it's been an extraordinary 24 hours, at which point we've had a threat from the President of the United States that a whole civilization would die, to a point where there is a ceasefire, a truce. But right now, as it stands, as I talk to you from outside the West Wing of the White House, it is a very fragile truce indeed. What we have seen since this ceasefire was announced by President Trump and announced by Iran's Supreme National Security Council is a wave of strikes carried out by Iran across Kuwait. There has been an attack on a Saudi oil pipeline, and there has been a huge and deadly, devastating series of assaults by Israel inside Lebanon, inside Beirut. More than 200 people, according to reports from the country, have been killed in these strikes. Now, Lebanon not a part of this ceasefire, and what that is leading to is a real point of contention at the moment, because the reports coming out of Iran suggested that the regime was shutting off the Strait of Hormuz because of Israel's attacks on Lebanon. It wants Lebanon part of this ceasefire agreement. Now, I was inside White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt's press briefing earlier on today, at which point she was trying to insist that those reports of the Strait of Hormuz being closed are false. She said, essentially, don't trust what the Iranians are saying publicly, trust what they're telling us privately. And on the other hand, you have the whole series around negotiations. We now know Vice President J.D. Vance, Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, are going to go to Pakistan Saturday local time. They will hold talks with Iran to try and move to a point of a longer-term ceasefire. But right now, things are incredibly delicate. The president put out on the Truth Social earlier today insisting that the 10 points from the Iranian side that had been put forward by Iran were not the 10 points that he had seen, trying to claim that they were different, that the United States had not agreed to those, that what had come forward that he had seen was vastly different. And that was backed up by Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt earlier today, as she was saying the same thing. Do not believe what the Iranians are saying publicly. Do not believe what the Iranians are feeding you publicly. Listen to what they are telling us privately, that we are telling you. So there is an extraordinary balancing power going on at the moment. It is a public information war as to where the situation stands with the negotiations. So Caroline Leavitt had said that the original 10 points had been thrown in the bin. You've now got a situation where Iran's Speaker of the Parliament is saying the United States and Israel has already breached the ceasefire by not agreeing to certain points on Iran's supposed 10 points. There's a lot of discussion about Iran's enriched uranium. How is that going to get out? Where is that going to wind up? And then you've got Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu speaking from Tel Aviv saying, look, essentially, speaking from Israel, saying, look, essentially that this war could start again at any moment. There's reports coming out of Israel that they weren't consulted on this until the last moment, and they are now bound by this ceasefire agreement. But this is a region that has been a hotbed of conflict for decades. And right now, whatever ceasefire is in place is incredibly fragile indeed. So, look, time is going to tell whether or not this can actually last, whether this can sustain the test of time. Because what has been made abundantly clear today is President Trump wants out of this conflict. In fact, from the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, today, what we saw was essentially a victory lap. In fact, it looked like the United States was rounding the last corner on its victory lap before the gun had even started. So, look, it is a very early situation. The United States is claiming a huge victory in all of this, as you would expect them to. They say that they have obliterated 90% of their navy, sunk them to the bottom of the ocean, that they have destroyed and damaged 90% of their missile capabilities. But there is still, when you look at what is taking place on the ground, the conflict is there. The military action is there. Missiles are being launched. And you can see the images that are coming through on television screens, particularly out of Beirut itself. This is a hotbed of conflict. And as I said, this truce, it's so fragile right now.
The people who are critical of Donald Trump have handed him the moniker Taco or Taco. Trump always chickens out. Is that appropriate?
Well, look, this is the phrase that had been coined reportedly by Wall Street traders. And once again, that moniker is circling among Democrats today and indeed among others, because once again, the president has delayed action. He put deadlines in originally, and about 10 days ago, a little 12 days ago now, was one of the most significant deadlines, and that was delayed by 10 days. Then it was delayed by another day, and now you've essentially got a 2-week deadline on us, starting from yesterday. But the picture that is becoming abundantly clear from the White House is they want out of this conflict. The original timeline President Trump had put on it was 4 to 6 weeks. We're now at 5 weeks and 5 days of this conflict happening. But it is clear that the president is feeling perhaps the political pressure domestically that is coming from this. He does not want to be involved in a prolonged war. And right now, the situation he's finding himself in is accepting this ceasefire proposal. But now he has to work on a longer-term arrangement. And ultimately, that is going to mean, what is the United States going to give up? What is Iran going to give up? Already, President Trump is saying, look, Iran has agreed to a whole bunch of things that we want them to agree to, including, as we heard White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt say, just handing over the enriched uranium. Now, that idea was completely off limits for Iran before this conflict. The White House now trying to say, look, there's been a massive shift in position from Iran and what they're calling a new regime. In reality, it's not a new regime. It's still the family of the Ayatollah in charge. It is Mojtaba Khamenei, who reportedly was the one that signed off on the ceasefire from Iran's perspective. But this is a ceasefire. Any ceasefire is fragile. It can have moments where things could flare up again. It can have moments where it could break. Both sides, you would hope, are trying to find a way to stop this conflict in the longer term. But there are going to be issues and sticking points that are going to be very difficult. Even today, you had the president suggesting that there could be some sort of joint initiative between the United States and Iran to charge tolls to use the Strait of Hormuz. Effectively, the United States and Iran co-owning a piece of water to allow oil and ships out of one of the world's busiest waterways. It's an extraordinary concept. I mean, he put forward this concept the other day at a press conference I was attending where he spoke about this very issue. And now he's talking about a joint initiative with the Iranian regime, a regime that he wanted to cripple, to topple, to change. And now essentially the United States is saying, hey, look, we've completed all of our objectives. We're done. We're moving on. But the situation on the ground is very, very different indeed. Even if the United States does walk away from this, you have to question, what is Israel going to do? Is Iran actually going to stick to the terms of this? What is going to happen to the likes of Hezbollah? What is going to happen to the likes of the Houthis in Yemen, all backed by Iran? Are they still going to be able to be supported by the Iranian regime? I mean, there are so many more questions than there are answers right now. That's understandable, given we're 24 hours into a ceasefire, but this is so delicate.
The thing that I've got to let you go. I can hear that you're very busy, and thank you for joining us right outside the White House on this explosive day, if you'll pardon the pun. The thing I don't get is that Donald Trump said his main motivation was to disable Iran of any nuclear capacity, which it seems as though he's done. Why then would you threaten to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages? And he said the other reason was to liberate a country that had been downtrodden by a tyrannical and bloodthirsty regime. Why would you then threaten a whole civilization, claiming that they will die tonight?
It's an extraordinary statement, and it was a statement that has been questioned by Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in an exclusive interview he gave with Sky News' Kieran Gilbert in Australia, saying essentially it was not appropriate language from the President of the United States of America.
Australia.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt spoke about this at length today,
Japan.
saying essentially don't look at the rhetoric, look at the results. 50,000
soldiers
and justify
in Japan.
it. Look, the President's
To protect
stronger
them from
language
North Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea.
It's a bluff.
Secretary Hegseth was asked
to protect us from
essentially.
Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. You notice he said very nice things about me. He used to call
he said, look, we were presented
Joe
with a list of
Biden
targets.
mentally retarded.
And then he listed off the targets, and they were bridges and power plants. It was the same sort of language that President Trump had been speaking about a week ago. It wasn't an entire civilization. The Pentagon didn't have a plan to essentially deliver, or they weren't revealing a plan to essentially drop nuclear weapons. The White House was forced to deny this claim yesterday after President Trump's Truth Social post. And you had Caroline Levitt today once again reiterating that position that the view of the White House is, nuclear weapons should not be used, nuclear war should not be started. A moniker that's essentially been carried down from the days of the Reagan administration and even prior to that. So, look, yes, there's a lot of language being thrown around, but you have to really delve into the heart of the issue and the heart of the conflict zones right now. And the picture that is coming out is this ceasefire hangs on by the bit of its teeth.
Yeah.
And that is a very delicate situation for the region and for the world to be in right now.
Thank you for keeping us informed and educated, Jonathan. We'll see you on Sky News.
Thanks again.
Use pretending not see that blinker and there's trouble. There's trouble. Guess what? I don't think you are my enemy anymore. My enemy is the creator of roundabouts, Frank Blackmore. Frank got up one morning in Britain with a cup of tea and a crumble. He thought his design was efficient and humble. There's nothing but a golf-shot circle. You weren't the traffic oracle. In fact, that design was terrible. You didn't think about my longer vehicle. That's why your first wife left. Cause he thought the traffic will keep left. And probably didn't give her a good time in bed. Cause this lousy truck, he thinks you are a dickhead.
Well, it's been a little while since we've had the honour of talking to Australia's most renowned child psychologist, Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg, on the podcast, but it's always good to get him back and hear what his thoughts are on certain important topics. And there's a couple this morning that I think we need to address. One of them is the growing number of female teachers in the school system, both here and overseas, that are having inappropriate relationships with students. Now, we've known for many, many years that male students have been doing this. They did it at my school at Narrabeen High in the late 70s. And we all know about Chris Dawson, who was at Cromer High, who had an inappropriate, or we don't know, and his twin brother had inappropriate or allegedly inappropriate relationships with then students. But now we're hearing about female students. Is this unusual, or are we only just hearing about it now? And the other thing I wanted to talk to Michael Carr-Grigg about is, how is the ban on social media, that's Australia's under-16 social media ban, how is it going? It came into effect on the 10th of December last year. So it's probably a good time to reflect on how it's going. But something else that's bothering me, and Dr. Michael Carr-Grigg has agreed to comment on this, is just where is the leader of the free world, the leader of our biggest ally, the United States, Donald Trump, where is his head at the moment? Because he comes out with these, what they call taco tweets, and that is, they call them tacos because Trump is running away from, he makes these threats and then runs away. Is he about to obliterate civilians in Iran? Dr. Michael Carr-Grigg, sorry to give you such three loaded questions on this appearance on the Bonafide podcast, but welcome.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Always great to talk to you.
Let's talk about Trump, because at the time of recording this, we'll find out if his latest threat about obliterating civilians in Iran is actually real or just another threat. What do you make of his latest threat concerning civilians in Iran? He says, a whole civilization, I'm going to quote him, a whole civilization will die if America and Iran do not reach a deal in the coming hours, which includes the reopening of the key oil shipping passage, the Strait of Hormuz. A whole civilization will die. It's frightening stuff, isn't it?
It is. It is. Look, the most important thing is I've never met the man, and I can't give a clinical opinion, but he does tend to present as someone who's strongly focused on winning, dominance, and he's very highly sensitive to status and respect, and he has a need for high dominance, and you'd have to say an extraordinary need for attention and validation. His communication style is very simple. He repeats key phrases over and over again, and he uses emotionally charged language. And we're not used to this. We're used to much more diplomatic, much more subtle, much more nuanced communication from the leader of the free world. This is certainly unusual.
Trump always chickens out taco. What do you make of that?
Well, look, I think he often appears very comfortable with making very grandiose statements. He's very comfortable with risk. He's willing to make very, very rapid decisions, which he then will presumably on advice go back on. And look, this is a bloke who's less constrained by conventional norms. He has absolutely no sense of, I said this and I probably shouldn't have. He's really not that sensitive to threat or criticism. So you've got a real loose cannon here. You've got someone who, you hope that he's surrounded by people who go, hey, Mr. President, maybe that last statement we need to sort of wind back a bit. And that's probably what's happening, hence the taco label.
Is he surrounded by the wrong advisors, though? I mean, if he is such a loose cannon, does he surround himself with sycophants that haven't got the guts to stand up and say, Mr. President, you're wrong?
Well, I don't know. I hope that there are people there who say to him, Mr. President, you're wrong. But one thing is clear. One of the most striking features about Donald Trump is his ability to withstand sustained criticism and pressure. The guy's got quite high psychological resilience. I mean, he has this strong internal narrative or belief system that he is right and that what he's doing is in the interests of his country. So that rather than trying to label him, I think a really useful way to understand him is that he represents a highly dominant, attention-driven, emotionally communicative personality that is exceptionally well suited to modern media and populist politics.
And all media, political media performers now know how to talk in sound bites so that it makes a news round.
Yeah. And this is a guy, remember, who thrives on attention, on conflict, and simple emotional messaging. Make America great again. And that combination makes him both incredibly effective but deeply polarizing.
And it's scary. And they're our biggest ally. I'm in no position to make a clinical observation, but you are. Is he mad?
No, I'm not in a position to make a clinical judgment because I haven't met him, but there certainly seems to be certain features of his personality which might lend you to a conclusion that he has some narcissistic traits, for sure.
All right, well, let's wait and see what happens. Now, so something else I wanted to talk to you about. When I watch social media, let's say, for example, YouTube, I watch a lot of documentaries and the latest news stories. And there was one that came up, and I sent you the story about an Australian school teacher, a PE teacher, married, who had allegedly inappropriate relationships with students, underage students. And we've heard about male teachers doing this for a long, long time. In fact, I grew up with that culture in the Northern Beaches, high school, 1970s. And a lot of our male school teachers, there were 4 of them in particular at our school, that had relationships with female students. In my year, they were 15 turning 16. One of them was 16. Another one was 16 turning 17. These were female students being preyed upon by these young, surfy, good-looking, charismatic male school teachers. And it was consensual. And and Dr. Michael Carr, Greg, we all knew about it. Do you want to know how? The girls bragged about it. They actually bragged about it. It was like a medal. So it was no secret. And the other members of the faculty must have known about it. But now we hear about female teachers doing exactly the same thing. And so I watched this story, and then the algorithm, as you can imagine, dished me up a number of other stories. A lot of them out of the United States, but some more here in Australia. So it was the algorithm replying to me watching that first one. So I did a little more. I did some deep diving. And according to a number of sources, there has been an observed increase in reported cases of female teachers engaging in inappropriate relationships or sexual conduct with students. There's been a rising number of reports. The surge in allegations in Victoria, reports accusing teachers of sexual misconduct, violence, and even damaging behaviour, surged by nearly 70% in the 2023-2024 financial year. And I think I also sent you this story as well. What is it that is about female teachers? And a lot of these teachers are married with children in relationships. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, there are a couple of things. First of all, female teachers have historically made up a minority of offenders. It was roughly about 4%, depending on which study you looked at. Most cases of teacher-student sexual misconduct are still committed by men, not women, as you have alluded to. The question is, of course, what's going on? Why does there appear to be an increase in this? Well, first of all, there's simply more female teachers. Teaching, especially in primary and junior secondary, is now a female-dominated profession, around 70% in many countries.
Right.
So that's first of all. Second, reporting has increased. So it's not just the behaviour. We are in a post-Royal Commission kind of Me Too era, and I think schools have stricter safeguarding policies, and the reality is students are much more likely to report. So social media, as you've discovered, exposes these cases very, very quickly. So there is evidence of a steep rise in reports, arrests and media coverages. No question about it. Not necessarily more behaviour, but more detection. So what I'm saying to you, Luke, is it might have been going on and we just didn't know about it. That's the first, that's an important point to make. What's going on? Why does it happen? Well, I mean, there are lots of different drivers around female perpetrators. One is it almost never starts as abuse. It starts as extra attention, emotional support, grooming. You're different from the others. And then those boundaries blur. So these women have an internal construct of themselves as being much younger than they actually are. And they seem to think that it is okay. They might be lonely in their own relationships. They might have unmet emotional needs. They might have a desire for validation or admiration. And this blurring of the role becomes highly inappropriate and is very destructive to the kids.
Yeah, and the grooming process is quite well thought out, isn't it? You might remember we found that there was a female headmistress of a ultra-Orthodox Jewish school in Melbourne, Mal Khalifa, who was found guilty of multiple charges of child sexual abuse, was sentenced to 15 years in prison back in 2023. And that went on for a long, long time because she disappeared back to Israel for a while. It was a real process to extradite her and get her back here for trial. There were three sisters. One, this woman, Mal Khalifa, was found not guilty on 18 charges on the first one, but was found guilty of sexually abusing the two sisters and was hence convicted. But it was interesting watching that documentary and looking at the well-thought-out grooming process. For example, a little pat on the shoulder, then a rub on the back and a hand on the knee, just to test the boundaries. It was quite planned.
It is, and it's all about power, access, poor boundaries, opportunities, and every single case is abuse. It's not a relationship. The reality is that we've got a culture which has been sexualizing adolescents for quite some time. There's earlier exposure to pornography. Mm-hmm. There's a sexualized online culture. And there's this blurred adult-child boundaries, even in the media. And this doesn't cause abuse, but I think it normalizes inappropriate dynamics. And that's what's going on.
Yeah, I want to talk about the social media ban on under-16s in Australia that came into effect 10th of December last year. But just getting back to something you just said, when you have young, impressionable brains and minds watching unfiltered pornography, it was quite easy to go to a porn site, just say that you're over 18 and bang, you're in, and you would watch this pornography. And I wonder, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm asking you, do you think that that unfettered access to pornography became what these kids thought was a training ground or a learning ground on how to behave sexually and then normalize that behavior? For example, if you've got two young kids, 14, 15, I don't care, developing teenagers who watch porn and they watch enough of it, do they then think that what those actors are doing in that pornography is normal and to be expected from each other?
Well, undoubtedly. And it's performance. It's not anything to do with love or intimacy or consent or safe sexual practices. It's cartoon sex. But it has become the lead sex educator in Australia for our young people. And it has normalised, sanitised and glamorised a whole range of sexual practices which hitherto we, certainly in my generation, never even knew about. So you're absolutely spot on. We must address this issue and we need to find something that counters this sex education through pornography. And so far we haven't.
The age of consent in Australia is 16 years of age in most states and territories. The age of consent in South Australia and Tasmania is 17. And sexual activity is only legal if it's voluntary, informed and consented to by both parties. But what about the defence by these teachers who pursue sexual relationships with students, that the student was over the age of 16 or 17 and it was consensual? As a parent, if I send my child to school, they're there to be educated. They're not there to be preyed upon. But that's me, and I'm an old-fashioned old fart. But should it be absolutely illegal, no matter what the age of the student, should it be illegal for a teacher to have a sexual relationship with a student?
Even when the age of consent is 16 or 17, there are strict laws about power imbalance. So it is illegal for an adult to have sexual contact with a person under 18 if they are in a position of authority or care, such as teachers, coaches, youth workers, or employers. So a teacher having a relationship with a 16 or 17-year-old student is illegal across Australia, and I'm delighted to tell you that there are people who have been prosecuted and are now sitting in jail because they did it.
So when a female teacher has a sexual relationship with a male student, one of the arguments is, once again playing devil's advocate because I need you to explain this, is that how could it have been rape if the male child student has an erection? Isn't that proof that he was aroused and therefore enjoying it? What are your comments about those arguments?
Well, I think, first of all, it's power imbalance. That's what it comes back to. So I think that when a female adult is sexually manipulating a younger person to have a physiological response, that is still rape from my point of view. I think the law would say the same thing. It boils down to the age of consent. The power imbalance is the thing that you have to focus on. If these people are younger, if the boys are younger than the teacher, which is almost always the case, it is a power imbalance, it's illegal, it's rape. End of discussion. That's what the law says.
When I was growing up, I had a mate whose father had Playboy magazines, and that was it. Now with the internet, and maybe that's changed since December last year, but you're watching this pornography, and if that's their first education into sex, it concerned me that one, the young kids would think, oh, that's normal, and there is one particular sex act, and a lot of porn sites concentrate on this particular sex act, and I don't have to be too graphic here, and in fact our sites would probably block me saying it, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And the young girl might think, oh, that's normal. I have to allow him to perform that act with me or to me or on me, otherwise I won't be able to keep my boyfriend. They think it's normal.
Well, sadly, we not only know that this is a fact, I hear it from my clients as well. So this isn't media speculation. This is just a fact. There's actually quite a good website that tries to counter this, but they don't have enough money. It's called itstimewetalked.com.au.
Right.
And it's actually quite a good resource for parents struggling with this. They might have discovered their kids looking at porn, and it gives them evidence-based advice as to what to do. So I can at least give our listeners something practical to have a look at.
Because you have more and more kids growing up in a single-parent household, and you might have the parent that is the primary caregiver working two jobs trying to make ends meet. Who has the time to look over the shoulder of their kids to see exactly what they're watching on social media or online? And a lot of parents, God, I'd hate to be bringing up children today, Doctor, because technically I'm a dummy, and I don't understand how it all works either.
No, it's very complicated, but parenting is tricky in 2026, which is why I really love being in a country where the government has taken a world-first stand not to outsource the psychological development of our children to Silicon Valley and has introduced this social media ban. this, I think, is the beginning of us fighting back, which is a good thing.
But you know the kids are so clever. If there's a will, there's a way. And they may be banned from a social media site to the age of 16, but if they really want to, they'll find a way. And parents, God, if I was a parent now, I wouldn't know the loopholes.
Well, look, around 4.7 million accounts have been deactivated. A lot of the platforms like Snapchat and TikTok have seen dramatic drops in usage. So one thing we can say, it's too early to declare it a success, but the ban has disrupted access and forced some behaviour change. We know that there's still some kids on social media despite the ban, and we know that it's still relatively easy to circumvent age checks. Overall, we're seeing a slight decline. We need to make it greater, and the eSafety Children's Commissioner, Julie Inman-Grant, is looking at fining these companies $49.5 million per breach, and that's actively being pursued now. And I think there needs to be greater responsibility on the social media companies to make sure that these circumventions are found and dealt with.
Last month in Los Angeles, a jury found Meta, which is the owner of Instagram and Facebook, and Google, owner of YouTube, liable for negligence. It was a landmark social media addiction lawsuit, and the jury determined that the companies deliberately designed their platforms to be addictive and that it caused mental health harm to a young user. Your reflections on that result?
Well, I was delighted that the action was brought in the first place, and it's very significant, not just for tech companies, but for how we understand responsibility for young people's mental health in the digital age. What the court found was that Meta knowingly designed features that contributed to harm. They failed to act despite evidence of harm, and just in case anyone didn't know, my opinion is that these companies have the ethics of a cash register.
Yeah.
And so this reframes social media from just a sort of benign platform to, no, we're a product and they use us and they use our children, and their algorithms and their designs and their notifications are all active agents shaping the behaviour of our children. And in legal terms, that opens the door to product liability style arguments. So we now know that platforms are addictive and designed to be addictive and harmful. Let's see what happens next.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, the lawsuit focused on addictive design features, and they named infinite scrolls, autoplay, and constant notifications. And the lawyers argued they were designed to hook young users, which led to anxiety, depression, and all sorts of other psychological issues. I wanted to talk about gambling for a second, because when I was following this case, I thought about a lot of the online innocent-looking games that kids were playing, and to get to the next level, so to download the game and play the game was free, but to get to the next level easier with clues or different steps, you had to get a credit card and pay for the next step in the child's game. Now, do you think that that's a form of gambling?
Oh, for sure. And this type of gambling is one of the fastest growing and most under-recognised public health issues we're facing. It's not just about betting anymore. It's about a digital environment that is increasingly designed to hook these developing brains. And we're seeing more young people being exposed to gambling earlier than ever before, way before the legal age, often via these games, these apps, these crypto platforms, these accounts, skins betting in someone else's name. And the line between gaming and gambling is now being blurred. And I'm really pleased that the federal government has announced over the weekend some significant steps to try and reduce the exposure of young people, particularly through sport, to this online betting.
I was watching free-to-air news this morning, And the focus on two of the channels was this Gather Round football, Adelaide football weekend, which is coming up. And they hooked that they were going to cross to Adelaide for the latest, and then there was an online gambling ad. At the end of the segment, there was an online gambling ad, and this was in breakfast TV. Now, those ads don't affect me. I don't gamble. It's one of the few vices I don't have. However, it was in breakfast TV, and it was an ad for an app where you can gamble. And they were saying our app's the best. The other ones let you down. Other ones are slow. Other ones are slow to pay. You can have multis. Just push these buttons. And it was around the Adelaide football Gather Round sports segment in breakfast television.
Well, look, I think what you've raised is so serious. We need to have conversations at home about odds and risks and manipulation. We need gambling literacy at school like we do for drugs and alcohol. We need to teach these kids how these systems are designed to hook them in. At a systems level, we need much stronger regulation of advertising. I reckon you could line up 1,000 of your listeners and there wouldn't be one that would say that what you saw on breakfast television today is Australian, is acceptable, and shouldn't go, because I reckon everybody would agree with you.
But I'm playing devil's advocate. The people who own and run these porn sites and forget the social media platforms, but let's talk about the porn sites and the online gambling ads. They would claim we make it very clear that it's for over 18s only. In fact, on the gambling ads, there's a warning. How much are you really losing? If you need help, call this number. They would say we are concerned. Look at the warnings we now broadcast.
Yeah. We've put a casino in every teenager's pocket, and now we're acting surprised when they can't walk away. I mean, give me a break. This is where the government has to step in and say enough is enough. The public health people have documented the nature and extent of the problem. Now we need government to step in and say, is this the sort of country that we want to grow up in? Is this the sort of environment that we want our children to be exposed to? I say no, and I think, we've led the world in so many public health areas, particularly on smoking and now social media. This is the next frontier.
Yeah, all right. It's a troubling world we're in at the moment, isn't it? Are you okay with it?
Well, I'm an eternal optimist, Luke. So, yes, I think we're going to get on top of these things. I think we need some good leadership and good lobbying and harassing of our politicians, which happily you and I will continue to do as long as we've got breath in us, I suspect.
Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg, always fascinating in education. I'm Dr. Michael, what's wrong with me? I never did this when I'm live on the radio. Dr. Michael Carr-Gregg, always informative, always educational, and thank you so much for your time. I know you're very, very busy. Can we talk again soon somewhere down the track?
We can, and thank you so much for your time.
A show called The Man Cave. Man Cave. With Boner on the mic, it's a good day. Good day. Adam McDonald and Kelsey too. Thomas behind the scenes, producing all the goods. Have a good time on a Friday. Or anytime you tune in anyway. The Bonafide podcast has all you need. You can play any episode to get you through the week. Special guests here and there, Greg Urban and Benny and pull up a chair. They're here for you, something to think about. Listen on Spotify, comment on their Facebook Live, and don't forget on YouTube you can always subscribe. Have a good laugh on the Man Cave. We'll have a good time and a good day. Good day. Everybody else is having their say. You can tune in and listen anyway.
We're back. It's time for the Man Cave on this Thursday morning, April 9, year of our Lord. And boys, Scotty Phillips, Adam McDonald, the vice captain.
I can't hear anything.
Can you see behind me? You see what Kelsey?
Yeah.
Look what Kelsey's imported.
Hey, nice. I like Kels.
Is that Flash?
That's top class.
While we're waiting for Adam to get his shit together, Scotty Phillips from the Motley, he's back.
Now he's back. There you go.
Look, I got one of those as well.
but because I don't have a webcam, it's backwards.
Yeah.
So I've got to get a webcam, and then I'll put it up. I'll put it up there somewhere.
Yeah.
But don't you love Temu?
Have you had a good week? Have you sold something? Have you found something?
Yes, I found a very good estate that's coming to me. I'm going to go out there today. Coming to me via the public trustee, which means there's no family attached to the estate. But I went out there last week, and in there is a 1 kilo gold coin.
A what?
A 1 kilo. No, it wasn't. A 1 kilo gold coin.
1 kilo. How is that even possible?
Well, the Perth Mint released them in the 90s.
Wait, but 1 kilogram? That's really heavy.
Yeah,
How big is this thing?
Probably the size of my palm, which is probably the size of your head, Kels.
Oh, okay. Actually, good.
So if you work out spot weight, it's about $220,000.
What? That is a ridiculous amount of money for a gold coin.
Is it a real coin? Like, was it made at the Mint?
It's made from the Perth Mint, yes. I don't know if it's a real one or not. I've got to go out there after this, and I'll take my scales and my gold testing. And if it comes up, if the outside of it's gold, I'll take and get XRF'd to make sure the whole thing's
There is a way to test it. It's been used for many, many years now, and you see the Olympic gold medalists do it. They bite into it. I don't know why, but apparently that tests if it's real.
It's because gold's quite soft.
Yes,
and if it dings, it's real. But anyway, it's exciting. There's all sorts of stuff out there. There's watches. There's jewelry. There's all sorts of stuff. So we'll see how we go.
We might get a phone call from Peter Curry from the NRMA to talk about Australia's fuel crisis in just a second. So when he jumps on, we'll go straight to him. But Scotty Phillips from the Motley Fool, good day to you. The ASX had its best day in nearly 12 months yesterday with the announcement of that ceasefire. Please explain.
Oh, no. I don't know why his audio's not working. Okay, well, Adam, give us your best. How's the ASX going?
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The what? Is the AXS a Tirana?
Should be working.
There we go. Here he is.
Okay,
there we go.
Scotty Phillips, you're back with us. Yeah, what happened yesterday? As I said, the ASX had its best day in nearly 12 months, but with the announcement of the ceasefire, what went on?
I'd much rather hear Adam talk about it, but I'll do my best.
Adam's obsessed with the ASX Tirana that won Bathurst in 79.
Probably a better ASX than the one we've got. Mate, yeah, look, I love being optimistic, Luke, and I love it when the market goes up. We all do, right? Because we're all invested through super or individually. I don't love the massive swings in both directions because it kind of sets you up, right? You look at it and go, that's good, but what comes next? Now, if the ceasefire holds and if it continues and if oil starts to flow and if it flows quickly enough, then this is great news for the economy, great news for petrol prices, good news for everybody who's got to fill up the car, the truck, or whatever. So, we love to believe this is good news. I would prefer the market to be a little more cautious because we've seen this story before, right? And Trump absolutely deals in ceasefires and delays and new deadlines. That's just what he does, how he works. So to kind of respond this way in the sense that, oh, great, all our troubles are over now, I don't know if the market's necessarily overreacted. It is assuming a lot, and frankly, given Trump's background and what we've been through, assuming too much in my view, because realistically, who knows what happens next, right? Maybe this can hold past the weekend, or maybe it'll last for 12 months. We just don't know. So assuming when the market jumps that everything's okay, I don't know. I hope the market's right. I'm always braced for a down day after that when that sort of thing happens.
My full chat with Jonathan Kersley, who is the Washington bureau chief for Sky News, I spoke to him from the White House, and you can imagine the media scrum there this morning. He said that even the American public is still sceptical. He said that the ceasefire is very, very temperamental, and that while Israel still is sending bombs into Lebanon, fighting Hezbollah, and you've got the Houthis, you've got so many factions going on in the Middle East, it could all go to shit just like that. And we still have the Strait of Hormuz closed. So the thing that I asked Jonathan, I said, the thing I don't understand, and I want you both to jump in here, when Donald Trump was threatening to wipe out a civilization yesterday, and you know how diplomatic he can be on his tweets, open the effing strait, and wanting to wipe out civilizations, he said there were two reasons for going into Iran. One was to take away any nuclear capability, but the other was to liberate a downtrodden race that had been the subject of almost genocide by a tyrannical leadership. So what's he doing about wiping out civilizations and sending a civilization back to the Stone Age if he's concerned about humanity? And just remember, those threats, well, if he went through and concentrated on civilian targets, bridges, desal plants, electricity generators that are all manned by civilians, that is a war crime. And I'm going to get to that. That's another topic we can get into this half hour. But what's his MO?
Well, also, just on here, Scotty, Mark asked a question. He wants to know, is Trump just spewing crap to influence the market so his mates get rich off the market swings?
I don't reckon he's doing it just for that. And I don't think I'm subject to libel laws in America from here, so who cares? If I am, let's see you guys in 20 or 30 years. Every time there's a big announcement, there is reports of someone making big trades to benefit from that announcement minutes, hours before the announcement happens. And it's happened repeatedly, 4, 5, 6 times over the last 18 months. It defies belief. Either someone is really, 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 really lucky, or there's enough noise, enough stuff going on. Is he doing it for that reason? I doubt it. I think Trump is way too egomaniacal to just try and make his mates rich. Would he do it to make himself rich? I suspect so, yes. Is he absolutely letting other people do it as a way of buying favours? I would not be surprised in the slightest, Kelsey. So, we can't know from the outside who's doing what and for what reason they're doing it. But to Luke's broader question, the whole thing seems like an ongoing series of thought bubbles for reasons that maybe make sense at some point in someone's brain. But when you think about the way this plays out, it's been a mess. God knows how many tens of thousands of people have died. Whether we end up with the sort of outcomes that Trump is hoping for is an open question. To your point, look, we won't go to the war crimes necessarily, but even just strategically, who is allowed to have nuclear weapons and who's not? Who decides those things? Is it just the biggest guy in the room? It seems like it. Yeah. That's exactly what's going on, because other countries, tens of countries, have nuclear weapons and nuclear capabilities, but Iran is the target here. Happens to be the Middle East, no surprise there. Venezuela and Iran, Trump's the first two big forays overseas in this term, happen to be large oil exporters. I mean, you don't have to be that cynical to kind of join those dots, including, as you say, Kelsey, those who are making massive amounts of money before, or by placing trades just before these announcements are made.
Yeah.
What you've got to realise, what do I think about this lunatic Donald Trump is, like, he was a billionaire hotel owner, he's been bankrupt a couple of times, and now he's the president of the United States. No matter what you think about this guy, he can negotiate. Like, he's obviously all this stuff that he puts out on Twitter, and it's all smoke screens. Like, when he sits in a room and he talks to people about what he wants, he's a absolute master negotiator. You cannot deny this. And a manipulator, and I'll guarantee you all this shit about I'm going to blow him up, I'm wipe them out. Bluff. It's all a smoke screen. Bluff. It's all bluff. It is. It's all dick swinging, chest beating, poker
playing.
That's right. It's rubbish. He will get what he wants because he knows how to negotiate.
Yes, I asked Jonathan Kersley that. I asked renowned child psychologist Michael Carr-Gregg, is he mad or is he a genius? And it's a fine line between the two, isn't it?
It's very fine. Very, very fine.
It's also, too, when you've got the beautiful thing about the US from Trump's perspective is he's got what other presidents have not used, which is, the old talk softly, carry a big stick. Trump's decided to talk loudly and swing the big stick. And that's from an outcomes perspective, to Adam's point, if you're prepared to say, I no longer believe in diplomacy, I no longer believe in friendships, I no longer believe in allies that have anything more than mercantile benefit for me, and I'm going to run the world that way, you can do it. And that's I think the biggest dislocation is other US presidents for decades have said we want to be part of a global community. We're happy to lead that global community. We will stand by standards. We will have what we were all kind of raised to do in terms of, what friendships and loyalty and allyship meant. And Trump's got actually, the whole thing's out the window. And to Adam's point, the negotiation, it hears, the deadlines and then the extension of the deadline. How many times have we talked about that over the past 15 months?
It's genius.
Right? And now you will break things doing it. So when we say it's genius, I agree with you, Adam, to some degree. But the US's benefit is it doesn't have to rely on anybody else, at least for now. But if it wants something at some future point that may have been otherwise done as part of a general... Australia has long said, look, we're deputy sheriff in the area for all the reasons that's a terrible phrase, because we felt like, okay, we have this allyship with the US, we have this alliance, we will do these things because we're part of this and we're going to rely on each other and we're going to trust each other to do what we want. Trump's blown that whole thing up. It's now just a case of, if you've got what I want, I will demand it. I might give you something for it. Let's make a deal. And it probably is great for the states if it wants to pursue that isolationist, aggressor-type stance. And there's nothing logically wrong with that, morally, ethically. And otherwise, we might have views on it. But you can absolutely do it and get away with it as long as you keep swinging the big stick and as long as no one's got a bigger stick than you. And frankly, that seems like a bit of what's going on in Iran. It's the idea of keep everyone else weak. If you do that, you remain strong.
Yeah, it's a very, very dangerous, precarious game we're playing. And of course, some people will say, Donald Trump, there's no interest in it for Donald Trump to open the Strait of Hormuz because America is nearly fully self-sufficient. But America will be affected because this is affecting the world economy, which affects the United States. Yeah, 100%.
And the global oil price, right? So the oil price is rising in the US despite that. Why? Because oil is a globally traded commodity. Now, at some point, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Trump put a ring fence around the US and just basically say, you may not export any oil. We must have it all here, and therefore they run effectively an internal market. But then you're kind of back to why would they bother with the Iran thing? And I do find this a little bit fascinating because that self-sufficiency, Luke, you're 100% right on. But if you are self-sufficient, why are you picking fights? Does Trump really think Iran's going to fire a nuclear weapon into the mainland United States? I can't see it, and if only because, for all of the nuclear Cold War stuff, the mutually assured destruction we all learnt about at school, it's still true. I mean, Iran could have 1 nuclear warhead, 10 nuclear warheads, 100 nuclear warheads. The first time it fires one, the whole place gets flattened. Now, you might say, let's stop him firing one, but the deterrent is, dude, I got thousands. You got one? Good, let's talk. So I don't really understand, honestly. I mean, other than in Trump's own world, and the madman genius question is the right one, because we could have blown Russia off the face of the earth by now, and Pakistan, and Israel, and whatever. And so for some reason, Iran seems different. Russia's been aggressive in the Ukraine. We know that. Not just aggressive. They're literally, killing people and trying to take territory. And Trump's sitting back going, oh, that's kind of bad. Iran may or may not be working on something and they're going to blow them off the face of the earth. I don't really know.
There's nothing in it for him.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting because another question people ask is, well, why doesn't Donald Trump send in warships to escort the oil tankers through the Strait? Now, there's a lot more to this. And Scotty, please jump in and listen to this, Vice Captain. I've done a little bit of reading on it. The Strait of Hormuz, we've all seen the map 100 times now. As it takes that sharp turn, it's very, very narrow. It's kind of like the width of Narrabeen Lake, where 2 ships will struggle to pass, let alone turn. Now, as the ships pass Qatar, Kuwait, and Iraq, and then into Iran waters, that's where it's narrowest. And the geography is very, very treacherous, mountainous. Now, Iran are able to launch drones from very, very, very close to the shore and stay hidden in caves and protected by mountains. Now, a warship that has the missiles to intercept the drones, each missile costs about $1 million. The drones cost $20,000 each. You launch 10,000 drones against a warship that can only carry 100 missiles, they're going to get through. So if an oil tanker is attacked and sunk in that strait, the explosion, the oil spill, the clogging up of that strait will last, God knows. So the whole thing is blocked. So blowing up a ship in that strait is not an option. And the other reason is, and the main reason comes out of London, where Lloyd's of London insure a lot of these tankers, and you cannot get insurance on any vessel that is operating in a war zone. They have said you're not covered. And I'm telling you now, any shipping company that says we are not covered by insurance is not going to send one there. How am I going?
You've nailed it, mate. That's exactly what's going on. And so even the warship thing, we think about escorting ships as if we're in World War II, right? The World War II convoys, it made sense because you only needed a one-to-one, ability. And if you sent a couple of destroyers, the chance you had a couple of enemy ships intercept you was really, really small. It wasn't zero, but the odds were pretty good. You could pretty much do it, and they wouldn't do it because they knew they were facing overwhelming firepower. So yes, you'd try and torpedo the occasional troop ship or something and try and get away with it. But the reality was the odds were ordinary. So your point about the drones, mate, God knows how many warships you would need just to absolutely, completely be certain that the oil tanker wouldn't be destroyed. And here's the other thing, by the way, is the PR damage. I mean, Trump is nothing if not, as I said, an egomaniac. When he sends some US warships through and a US warship or a tanker is sunk by one of 50,000 drones or 10,000 drones sent at once out of Iran as they try and shoot them all down at the same time, not only is it a massive economic drama, a massive environmental drama, but Trump doesn't want that on the front page of any newspaper because he wants to project the tough guy image. He's not going to start a fight he can't win.
Well, we'll watch this continue, and it's just a frightening time. Mm-hmm. Now, there is something else that's in the news that I need your opinions on, but I want to warn you, even though we don't answer to ACMA during a podcast, we still answer to the law of the land, and that is also the laws of sub judice. Mm-hmm. So we have Ben Roberts-Smith. Now, just remember, Adam, I know you come from a military background, Adam, and you're going to want to say a lot, but you've got to be very careful here.
Oh,
I just don't want to get into trouble.
I know.
I don't want to be dragged off to court for contempt of court.
No, be careful.
We have criminal charges laid against Australia's most decorated living soldier, Ben Roberts-Smith. And this is going to be fascinating. Now, just remember, Ben Roberts-Smith has already been to court, but he launched a defamation suit against newspapers. Financially, he was supported by Kerry Stokes back then, but he lost. And the judge in that case, and just remember, that was a civil case, completely different to a criminal case. The judge found that in all probability, what those papers published was probably true. Civil case. Mm. Now, the DPP, and just remember, the people prosecuting Ben Roberts-Smith is the Australian government. And they obviously believe they have found enough evidence that a homicide or homicides, that is murder, has occurred. Now, why isn't this being heard before a military court? Easy. Ben Roberts-Smith is a civilian now. He is no longer a member of the ADF, and it goes to a criminal court. And the other reason we've got to be very, very careful is if this was a judge-only case, well, we'd probably have a little more leeway. But this is probably going to be heard by a jury. And that's why we have laws called sub judice or sub judice, so that a jury could not be swayed by comments made in the media. So having said all that, I'll let you go first, Vice Captain. Ben Roberts-Smith, this case could take 2 or 3 years. It could go for a very, very long time, and there are highly emotional, mixed feelings about this, Adam. And I know where you might be coming from.
I find it hard to understand why we're prosecuting this guy. This guy, and like many men and women that go through the military, they're trained to be soldiers. They're trained to go to war. What happens at war happens at war. It's I had my real father and my stepfather were both military men. Both were Vietnam veterans, and both of them had this saying that was, "It's hard being a soldier when you're not a soldier." And so these men and women are trained to go to war. They're trained for combat. They're trained in all these things. So I don't know. I don't know what happened over there. I don't know what to believe, but I don't think this man should be prosecuted.
Yeah. What goes on in war? It's very hard to know what are the rules of war. What are war crimes? I don't know, and I wasn't there. And it's going to take a long time. Just remember, he lost a defamation case, a civil case, Scotty, it's. I don't know how you go about proving this when you're going to have witnesses after all these years whose memories may have faded. A lot of the witnesses may be overseas. It's going to be a very, very difficult thing. And as I say, a long time. I don't know what the rules of war are. I mean, allegedly, if you execute someone who has surrendered, they are unarmed and unable to defend themselves, that's against the rules. But I had a soldier who had returned from Afghanistan ring me on Triple M. And it was a highly charged phone call. And he said he was there with his unit and there was a young boy, could not have been more than 10 or 11, walking towards them with some goats or some sheep. And he was walking and they had those high-powered binoculars. And as he was getting closer and closer, they saw that he had explosives strapped to him. They warned him to stop. He kept coming towards them. They warned him again. He kept coming towards them, and this soldier said, I shot him dead. He was not in uniform. He was a young boy. Jesus. How do you live with
there's
that?
There's so many levels there. How are you communicating to this kid to stop? He doesn't know your language. You don't know his.
All right.
And what's just the big one for me, Luke, sorry. What's the difference between a soldier being on the front line and shooting someone dead to the colonel who's sitting in his comfy chair back in the camp commanding these men and women to do it?
Exactly.
What's the difference?
Let's get back to that.
There's no difference.
I agree with you. Let's get back to that. Why doesn't the ADF was Ben Roberts-Smith under orders?
Exactly.
Like Breaker Morant. Well, we'll come back to it. But I've got Peter Curry from the NRMA on the line. He's just finished with Sunrise and Channel 9, and he's been good enough to ring us from his car. Peter Curry, g'day. Welcome to the Bonafide podcast. We're live today.
Good morning. Yes, thank you. Well, it's almost right. So I finished for today, about to head into Sunrise. So I wanted to get to you before we got on air.
Peter, the ceasefire and the flow of oil going to the rest of the world, what's your reflection on all of this and how will it affect Australia?
Look, the volatility of the ceasefire has been laid out to bear, unfortunately, this morning. We're hearing reports that the Strait of Hormuz has been shut again based on differences between both parties' understanding of the ceasefire. So the enthusiasm of yesterday has been tempered somewhat, to say the least. If the ceasefire holds, then we will see prices fall eventually in Australia. The ceasefire absolutely needs to hold. Overnight, oil, the benchmark price for diesel and unleaded in the Asian markets both dropped. They can continue to drop, hopefully, or at least sustain those falls, but we need the ceasefire to hold.
Peter, I'm curious in terms of the approach that the NRMA is taking, mate. How much work is being done, by you guys or others, on the price that are being charged by petrol stations around the country? No one doubts that the increase is all about the oil price, at least directionally. How are you seeing, finding, noticing what's actually happening for retail prices?
Great question. So when the war started, what we noticed immediately was in our three biggest cities, about half the service stations, which were already at the top of the price cycle in Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, jumped again. They jumped before wholesale prices jumped. They jumped before anybody else did. Unfortunately, those huge prices then led to what we started to see, which was panic buying. Since that time, as both the wholesale price for diesel unleaded broke records, what we started to see was those margins between the retail price and the wholesale price close in. So the prices you're seeing today at the Bowser, on average, in most cities, is largely where we would expect them to be given how high the wholesale prices are. They're at record highs. So, for example, the wholesale price for diesel is well over $3 a litre. The gap between the wholesale and retail price is about 6 cents. That's about as good as it's going to get. To get real relief at the Bowser, we need the war to end. We need those wholesale prices to fall significantly. In the meantime, the NRMA is constantly watching those prices to make sure that our members and the broader community aren't being ripped off.
How do you explain like the difference in prices at different servos? Like I'm down in Canberra, and Canberra's notorious for. I think I paid. I run a big diesel truck, so I pay a lot for gas down here. But how do you go? Like you see on the news, you know, that it's cheapest at Doonside 7-Eleven or whatever compared to other servos, and the difference is massive. Like it can be 20 or 30 cents a litre. How do you explain that?
So Canberra's average is not too bad. When I say not too bad, compared to the other cities, the gaps between the prices that you talk about from one servo to the next, that is unfortunately the reality, or fortunately, that is the reality of the market in Australia. Prices aren't regulated. Servos can charge whatever they want. And that's why you tend to see huge spreads of prices. Now, in Canberra, the spread can be 15 to 20 cents, Costco consistently being the cheapest. You go into the bigger markets like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, it can be upwards of 60 cents between the cheapest and most expensive service station in that city. This is important because what the NRMA has done is worked really hard to make sure that our members can get access to the prices in real time. We can't stop service stations from charging what they want. To be honest, we probably don't want to because that would reduce competition. It would just wipe out those cheap servos. What we want to do is give people the information they need to find those cheap servos. So you're filling up at 60 cents a litre, less than what you would if you ended up filling up at the most expensive servo. That's the reality of the market in Australia. They can charge whatever they want. They are clearly doing that. What we want to do is get the public into those cheap servos.
Yeah, and just, I know you're going to go on Sunrise very soon, Peter. Appreciate you calling through, but let me ask you this. Are you convinced that all the servos have passed on the drop in the excise?
We look at the averages because there is such a huge spread and, every servo is doing its own thing. We certainly have seen the averages for unleaded fall about 20, 25 cents a litre across the capitals. It needs to fall more, and we'll be watching to see that because not only have the excise cut occurred, but we've also seen the wholesale price for unleaded drop a wee bit. It's gone up again since then, and the market's really volatile. So we've seen unleaded prices come back around 20, 25 cents on average. Diesel prices, basically, the cut got eaten up almost overnight because the wholesale price for diesel just kept going up and up. So whatever cuts there were, that 26 cents plus the GST, which was like 2.5 cents, it's gotten eaten up and then some. So the wholesale price for diesel this morning is again at a record high across the country. So it's it's about $3.26 a litre.
Okay, one last question, then I'll let you go. Are you convinced that we will not see the rationing of fuel? Because there was big talk that was going to happen after Easter. Is that furphy put to bed, or is it a possibility?
We have never thought that we would have to get to rationing. We remain confident that the tankers are continuing to arrive in Australia. The government is giving daily updates on the count of tankers. At one point leading into Easter, there was more oil in the country than there was before the war. So the answer to that question is no, we don't believe petrol rationing it could become a reality in this country. We're seeing Australians kind of peel back on their consumption of fuel, which is great. They're starting to regulate their behaviour, which is exactly what we want Aussies to do in a crisis. So we don't believe that to be the case. Having said that, I mean, the situation changed significantly in 2 hours this morning, so anything can happen. We're talking about the Middle East.
Yeah, Peter Curry, we'll see you on Channel 7. Thank you so much for that, buddy. Well, you and I will catch up soon. Oh, no, thank you for calling through on a very busy day. Peter Curry from the NRMA, and he's an expert on fuel.
With those, can I just ask, with those fuel prices, the servos that are charging less, are they just they're charging less so they're going to sell more, sausage rolls and Coca-Colas? You get people through the door and selling condiments over actually just selling the gas.
And flowers when you forget your wife's birthday.
Exactly. And volume as well, Adam. So they'll bet on
sell more for less.
A heap of fuel less price and the add-ons, mate. Yeah, that's the model. And reputationally, it's also, Costco's a different story. They're doing it not as a loss leader, but they're doing it to say, hey, remember Costco's cheap, which is a smart branding strategy when the main business is the rest of the shop. But most of them, it's a volume / price game. That's kind of what it comes down to. And the cheap servo, right? So everyone knows which ones are the cheap ones. We'll use those ones, and they do the volume. You get caught out, you buy somewhere else on the way home, you pay a bit more, and they make it up on the margin.
Yeah. Listen, I want to thank Peter Curry for ringing through. He's very, very busy. I want to play some segue music just to change the mood. But Adam, I wanted to hear. Do you want to talk more about Ben Roberts-Smith? I think you got your point.
Yeah, no. Or maybe I just wasn't listening.
I think you got your point. I think you got your point across really, really well. I don't know what a war crime is. I mean, it is set out. And was he under orders? And I mentioned, just like the Breaker Morant defence, where Harry Morant claimed that he was under orders. to kill those Afrikaans back in the Boer War.
That's right.
That defence didn't save him. Shoot straight, you bastards. Remember that?
Yeah.
However, all of this will come out. I will say this. A lot of the trial, and I believe it will be a jury trial, a lot of the evidence may be heard in closed court because it could compromise national security and other military information, pieces of military information that the government doesn't want the general public to know. Would you agree with that? A lot of it we won't hear?
Oh, you won't hear it. I don't think we'll hear anything at all. You're exactly right, because it will put national security at risk. And it's a hard thing. Is there rules of war? I mean, women and children, yes, but these men and women are trained to go over and get into a conflict. So who writes the laws? Who says what's right? Who says what's wrong? I don't understand how he can be a national hero one day and everyone's praising him, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, he's in jail. Like, it's just
because he went too far whilst being a national hero.
Did he though? Like, who writes these laws? Who's the judge?
Well, the judge at the civil case found that what the paper beyond reasonable doubt is what we're looking for here, and in the civil case, the judge found there was reasonable doubt that the papers had published, that what the papers had published was true. So he lost that defamation case and Kerry Stokes lost a mozza. However, this is a criminal case. It is not a civil case. And this, folks, could see Australia's most decorated war hero go to jail for 25 years. It's that bloody serious. We'll play some music. Hey, how much longer have you guys got? Because I wanted to play Muddle the Millennial.
Yeah, you got it right the first time.
I want to play Muddle the Millennial again. How much time have you guys got?
Yeah, go on. Let's do it.
All right.
I don't open the doors for another hour.
Okay, we'll take
7:30 starts killing me.
Oh, Adam.
We'll come back.
You're here for the people, Vice Captain. Well done.
Yeah, that's right.
You are. You're taking one for the team and for the people.
I'm under orders.
Okay, we'll come back after this. Muddle the Millennial, Volume 2 is next here on Bonafide.
G'day to you, mate. I know you might be a little late. How's it going in that lane? Did the kids drive you insane? I know you might be a little late, but that's no reason to give me hate. Keep it nice, keep it steady and straight. I know you might be a little late.
Here on Bonafide Live. Were you with us, Scotty, when we played?
He was.
Muddle the Millennial.
I absolutely was. I'm looking forward to the second round.
Now, Kelsey did very well.
She did.
I'm nervous now because I feel like you've upped your game a little bit.
A lot better than you did.
Well, then,
yeah, that's right.
Then, folks, if you've just joined us, Kelsey the next week played Bamboozle the Boomer. And I did have help from Adam.
And I'm pretty sure Scotty was
Were you there for that one too?
I think so, yeah. You needed lots of help.
Yeah, definitely Kelsey 1, Luke 0. Let's see what the second round does.
Now, my beautiful stepdaughter, Chook.
Has she added some in here?
I tested it.
Okay.
I road tested these. Chook and her little boy, Atticus, come over every Wednesday to Poppy's pool. And I said, Chook, Kelsey wants to play Muddle the Millennial again. I've got some questions here. And I ran it past Chook. Now, Chook is a millennial, but she's at the very end.
Yes.
She's 40 on Saturday.
Wow.
This little girl came into my life when she was 3 turning 4. She's 40 on Saturday.
Oh, you're so old. I know. You're so old.
Oh.
I tell you this all the time.
So anyway, I road tested these questions and she got a few wrong. So, boys, do you want to play as well?
They can be my lifeline, so they can be my
I'm in the
friend.
middle. I'm in the middle. I'm sort of on the fence between both of you.
Okay.
You're in a world of hurt, Kelsey, if you rely on me for help, but I'll do my best, mate, if you need.
Okay. Adam will know this. Oh, Scotty, you'll know it too.
All right.
Chook, who is a huge football fan, and her dad is a massive St George supporter.
Yeah.
Even though when Chook moved to Sydney with us in 2000, we lived on the peninsula, she would not go for Manly. She kept the St George fire alive, and God, they need something now.
Yeah.
The Red V's in a bit of trouble at the moment, but don't get me started on that. Mind you, Manly's only won one game under Kieran Foran. God, you wouldn't be a coach Would you?
Not
Anthony
for Queens.
Seibold loses
way
3 games.
Way to get off track.
Loses 3 games. He punted.
No, but Anthony Seibold's been sacked. He was sacked from the Knights. He's been sacked from a couple of clubs.
But you wouldn't want to be a coach. You lose 3 games,
No,
you're gone. But what about Ricky Stewart? Canberra's not going good, and he's stuck in there, isn't he?
Does this have anything to do with Muddle the Millennial?
Anyway.
Coach Mike Wilkes, he's coached Cronulla, he's coached Parramatta. The bloke has done a remarkable job of surviving as a coach, I've got to say.
Some people say he couldn't coach a choco vine over a brick shithouse, but that's another story. So here comes a football question for...
Oh, why would you do this to me?
This is Muddle the Millennial. Which famous South Sydney rugby league player in the 1970 New South Wales Rugby League Grand Final played on through a smashed broken jaw?
I don't know. Buddy Holly. Who is that?
I can help you with this, Kelsey.
No, that was cricket. That was cricket.
Was it?
No, it was Buddy Holly in the crickets, you...
That's the only name that came... I don't know. I don't know football.
Okay, fair enough.
Wait.
Chook didn't
Scotty.
Adam? Scotty?
Yeah,
Scotty.
Johnny Sattler. Johnny Sattler.
It was the great Johnny Sattler, and his jaw, apparently at half time, it was out here. I've seen it.
I don't want to know.
It was out sideways and down here, and he went... and pushed it back into place and played on.
I hate that.
And there's that famous photo of him sitting on shoulders being carried off.
Yep.
How tough is that? That would never be allowed today.
No, you break a nail, they take you off for HIM.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Dear, I do.
I think that's another topic about how rugby league's changed, and it's all about laying down now.
Yeah, I hate that.
What about soccer?
I hate that.
That's what rugby league's turning into. That's what rugby league is turning into.
Lay down long enough so the referee calls time off and the bunker gets involved. It's a debacle.
It's ridiculous.
Should we?
Okay, next question.
Okay, who's keeping score? Scotty?
You are. Nathan, you've got the pen right in front of you.
Okay.
I didn't get that one right.
Okay. Here we go. What popular 1970s material was used on floors, walls...
Asbestos.
And what popular... Let me finish.
Oh.
That's a good guess.
That was a good guess.
No, don't worry. We could have had Buddy Holly again.
Come on.
What popular night... What?
Come on.
That was crickets.
Come on.
Did you see what I did there?
Oh, my God. Come on.
I like that. That's good, yeah.
What popular 1970s material... Can I use the word fabric?
Okay.
Was used on floors, walls, and even toilet seat covers in the 1970s.
Like the velvet stuff, you know? The plushy velvet stuff.
What sort of material was used on floors?
Satin.
Walls, and even seat covers? I'll go from saying material to carpet. What was the carpet called?
Jute.
Okay.
That's a very modern car.
I know. I don't know.
It's like an IKEA.
Oh, like I don't know.
I'm trying to help.
What does it start with?
No, you're wrong.
No, you got to give me the first letter. The first letter.
Do you guys know?
Yeah, I think I know.
Okay, Adam, what is it?
Is the first letter S?
Yes.
Satin.
Yeah.
Go on, Adam. What's the answer?
Shag pile.
Oh, of course.
And things got caught up in the old shag pile, and things happened on the shag pile.
Please stop. Next.
Okay, you're 2 down.
Yes. Okay.
Which Prime Minister is remembered for the 1975 dismissal? We talked about this, Kelsey.
The other
I've tried
day.
to educate you. Sir John Kerr was the Governor General. Well, may you say, God save the Queen. I'll even try and do the voice.
Who was Robert Menzies?
Because nothing will save.
The Governor General.
Was Robert Menzies the one that got lost at sea?
No, that was Harold Holt. Menzies was the most...
Bob Hawke.
No. But he was a Labor Prime Minister.
John Howard.
No, he was a... Say Buddy Holly.
I'm just naming prime ministers that I know. I really only know Robert Menzies, Bob Hawke. Who was the one that everyone he drank beers and stuff at the?
That was Bob Hawke.
Okay, well, I've got nothing.
Okay, it was Gough Whitlam.
Nah, wouldn't have guessed that.
It's Gough Whitlam.
Luke, can we just make mention of those who haven't been to Melbourne? There is a Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Pool in Melbourne, which is my favourite.
Isn't that fantastic?
Isn't that brilliant? I drove past it the first time. I was like, it can't be, surely.
That is
a Harold Holt Memorial Swimming Pool.
Don't you love how it's that Harold Holt's turned into rhyming slang? He's done the Harold Holt.
No, that was Barry Bolt.
It's a Harold Holt. He's done the Bolt.
Harry. He's done the Harry.
Yeah, he's done the Harry. The Harold Holt. He's done the Harold Holt. He's done the Bolt, and swum out to the Japanese submarine.
No, they're looking for a dingo. They're looking for a dingo with a snorkel, surely. I've got to tell you, just rhyming slang before I move to the next question. This was a magical moment for me. It was completely spontaneous. I'm at 2GB many years ago, and I'm interviewing Barry Crocker, and we're having a chat. And he couldn't remember the dates of what he was doing. I said, "You're having a you." I mean, what are the chances of being able to do that? What were the chances? It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, isn't it? I said, "You're having a you."
I don't get it.
Nice.
Don't explain it to me.
If you're
Next
having
question.
a shocker, you're having a Barry Crocker.
Okay, I don't get it.
It's a very English thing, I think, the rhyming slang.
Dead horse. What's dead horse?
Tomato sauce.
Oh, come on. Okay, next question.
Haven't you heard that?
Okay.
Dead horse in the dog's eye?
No.
Dead horse and the dog's eye. What's another one? Rhyming slang while we're here.
Reg Grundy's?
Undies?
Yeah. No. Reg Grundy's. Who was Reg Grundy? Wasn't he a television?
He was a television producer. He produced and came.
Sons and Daughters?
Well, Wheel of Fortune.
Memory?
Was it Wheel of Fortune? There was all those game shows. He owned the game show.
We're talking French to Kelsey here.
I've just glazed over what you're saying.
No, come on. Next question.
Next question.
Right.
Yeah, come on.
Go.
Okay. Okay. Which children's television show ran from 1979 to 1987 and was known for a segment called What's Your Name, What's Your Game? What was it? It was an afternoon children's TV show. Massive. On Channel 9.
I don't know.
But
I don't know this one.
You've got to give us a clue. You've got to give us a clue.
Welcome to my wonderland.
Wonderworld.
Simon Townsend's Wonderworld.
Simon Townsend's Wonderworld.
Never heard of it in my whole entire life.
I got to know Simon really well after he had his stroke, but gee, his mind was still sharp as a tack. And he produced me on 2GB for a little while over one summer period, and God, it was great. But I'll tell you an interesting piece of trivia before the last question.
Yeah.
If you Google Simon Townsend, not only will it come up as creator and executive producer of Simon Townsend's Wonderworld, but he was also Australia's first conscientious objector during the Vietnam War.
Oh, there you go.
He actually went to prison. He actually went to prison for a day, I think. But he was Australia's first conscientious objector with the Vietnam War.
Wow.
Is that a good piece of trivia?
Yeah, I guess.
It is. His original theme song for his show was Afternoon Delight until someone told him what it meant.
Oh.
I'm reliably informed.
Okay, now this one is the last one, and Chook argued that it's too ambiguous, but this is what it says. Back in the old days when you went to the milk bar and you could buy 2 for a cent, you could buy some lollies 1 for a cent. You remember that? Are you too young, Adam?
No, I used to go to the local milk bar down at the Broadmeadows local shops, and you choose, you'd have, can I get 4 strawberries and cream, 3 bananas, and it costs you like 15 cents.
Okay. So the question is, in the 1970s, which popular 5-cent confectionery bar was often alongside Redskins and Milkos? Now, this is a bit tough, I reckon. You had the Redskins, you had the Milkos.
The must stick smoking things.
That's a very good, but it does. I'll give you that. But it says here choo-choo bars.
What the hell is a choo-choo bar?
You're talking about What do they call them? They call them fags.
Yeah,
Oh,
correct.
yes.
No, that was a different thing. And now they're still for sale called Fads, F-A-D. They had to change the name because these were mini they were lolly cigarettes.
I'm pretty sure they had to change Redskins as well.
And
They did change Redskins.
Yeah.
Got changed.
Yeah.
What
What
the
a
hell are
time.
choo-choo bars?
And the little gollywog biscuits, what were they?
Mm-hmm. That's what we call gollywogs, yep.
Yeah, they're
called
gone.
gollywogs. Yep,
they're gone.
But what is
Coon cheese is
oh
gone.
Oh my god.
Coon.
Now he's on a rock.
When I get those gollywog dolls at work, we when we catalogue them, we don't call them that.
What do you call them?
We just call them a vintage stuffed doll or something. But we can't. We cop too much shit online, so you can't call it that.
What else has been cancelled? Let us know. Send us an email. Cancel culture. What?
Noddy cancelled at one point?
Noddy.
I think Noddy was cancelled.
Well, that's because they thought that he and Big Ears were in a
Well, they
bed.
were. They were sleeping in the same bed.
Well, at least B1 and B2 had separate beds.
That's right. But then you look at Fat Cat and Humphrey, and they never wore pants.
I know.
Yes.
They'd have a nice tweed vest,
Tuxedo.
but no pants on.
I know.
Good at that,
Okay, last question. Last question for. She's got nothing.
I know.
Last question.
These are hard questions.
This is something that you should have been taught in school. So was Gough Whitlam, by the way.
No.
In what year did Australia officially transition to decimal currency? There was a whole song. There was a massive TV and radio campaign.
Year?
What year did we go from? What year did we transition to decimal from pounds and
I'm
shillings?
allowed one question.
Yeah.
Were you alive when?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and we sang the song. You can actually play this on our podcast when you do the editing later, or you can find it now.
No.
Out go the shillings and
I
out
remember
go the pence.
I've actually seen the ad, but I reckon. I'm going to say follow-up question. Were you in your teenage years?
No, I was in primary school.
Oh, okay.
On the
In fact,
1924.
on the 14th.
1960.
Yeah. Go, Carls.
5?
Oh.
6. Yay! I get that one.
I would have known that.
And Kelsey, when you do the edited version of this, can you put the song in because it'll make people my age smile.
In come the dollars, in come the cents, to replace the pounds and the shillings and the pence. Be prepared, folks, when the coins begin to mix on the 14th of February, 1966.
God, it was memorable. It's up there with the Mr. Sheen and Louis the Fly ad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Aeroplane jelly and the whole but that was.
I like
aeroplane jelly.
This is a time when ads had jingles. You don't
I
have
know.
jingles anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
There's no such thing as an ad jingle.
episode. For old farts like us, you can do an ad jingle episode. There's a massive amount of nostalgia with all that stuff.
Oh, Coddy's cordial makes the cordial that I like best.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
My dad. And
My dad picks the fruit.
that's it.
Yes.
Until
And now
we
they still play the tune, but they can't use the words anymore because it's important.
And there was no fruit in it.
my dad used to pick the fruit until we ran out of diesel. Now we're all broke. We should do a TV radio jingle session.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
And Hugo said, you go. And I said, no, you go. And soon he was back with the pack. And we sat in the back feeling better inside.
Okay, that's enough.
A drive
What's
isn't
that for?
funny without an empty tummy. Thank
Okay, that's
goodness for
enough.
Kentucky Fried.
It sounds like an ad for condoms. Wow.
No.
Oh, it's in the Mojo catalogue, right? The Tui's ads and the Meadow
Mojo.
Lee stuff, the Colgate. I mean, Mojo just smash hit.
They were
factory.
great.
Unbelievable.
They were songs. They were anthems.
Yeah,
This is where
yeah.
Mojo were really good. They didn't write jingles. They wrote anthems.
Yes. Great way to put it.
Yeah. How do you feel? Remember
Yes.
that? Oh, Lily Pounds.
This is me, Mum. Talk about that. Once you wind Luke up, he just won't stop.
Lily pounds him down like a machine. Pascal's taking divots in the green. Something
Okay.
Dougie's chewing gum, and the chapel's eyes have got that killer gleam.
Okay, that's enough.
Mr. Walk is playing havoc
Luke.
with the bat. Come
Luke.
on,
Oh my
Ozzy,
God,
come on.
There you go.
Okay, next.
That's it. You've done reasonably well. 4 down, 1 we'll give you.
Yeah.
1966. listen, guys, thank you so much. Adam McDonald from Evans Hastings. What have you got coming up?
Have a look on ehva.com.au tonight. We've got a pop culture sale up online. There's some really good early movie posters. There's a good Star Wars, Rocky Horror Picture Show, some really odd movie posters like Ghoulies and these iconic horror movies. So have a look at that. There's a wonderful collection of
Lego
Lions.
Knights Castle.
So have a look. And just next week, I just want to put this out there. Can we talk about when should bands hang up their live shows?
Yeah.
I went and saw a New York rap group the other week, and I paid $160 a ticket each for me and Wonderboy, and it was the shittest show I have ever seen. I almost walked out. When do bands say that's enough? We cannot do it anymore.
Like the Rolling Stones. Triple M were major sponsors of Guns N' Roses at one point when I was there, and I think it was at Eastern Creek. And
I was there.
Axl was 2 or 3 hours late.
4 hours late, and it was pissing with rain. I was there.
When should bands hang up the microphone and axe the axe?
That's right.
Give us your feedback, and we will make that a hot topic next time on The Man Cave. Scotty Phillips from The Motley Fool. Explain The Motley Fool, and how do we get in touch with you?
Mate, we provide investment advice to individual investors at a general level, so can't tell you what you should do, but we give recommendations, education, advice. Fool.com.au is the website, mate. Thanks for asking. You follow me on all the socials too. I'm all over the place.
Wait, Adam. So on the website, right? Because there's some there's like a couple posters here that I'm like, oh, I want that. So okay, so let's just say one of them's at $60 now. If I bid, I don't know, like $80, what are the odds that that's going to like get like way higher just before the auction?
Someone at the last
what happens is
will go 81.
Yeah, there's a real science, but it's a soft close at 6:30 at night. Everyone's had their dinner, the kids are watching TV, and you're sitting in front of the computer with a glass of wine ready to bid.
Yeah.
It's a real science. And what happens is when you get outbid, we show you who outbid you. So say, Kelsey, you're at $80. Bob Jones has come in at 85, and you know what?
This sounds
Screw you, Bob Jones. You're not having
stressful. This sounds very stressful.
And people get emotionally involved in it, and it's a thing. Not last Christmas before, I was trying to buy a clock for my wife at the time, and they're worth about $600. I'm still bidding at $2,500 because I didn't like the other person who was bidding on it.
Yeah.
I literally had to close.
Personally, that's one of your rules. You've always said don't take it personally.
It's hard not to. Exactly right, but it's hard not to. You get emotionally involved, and it's a real science. But that's why we soft close everything at 6:30, 6:31, 6:32. Each lot finishes within a minute of each other. If you bid within the 5 minutes of closing, it gets extended for 5 minutes. So potentially you could be sitting there for another hour. It's a wonderful thing.
Oh.
And it's funny, bidding, like at a house auction, you might know that your top limit is 1.2. But if you think the guy bidding against you is a prick,
that's exactly right.
It could cost you money.
Yeah.
Hey Adam, if I win something, which is probably very unlikely, can you bring it to me next time you're in Sydney? I don't want to go.
I'm in Sydney next. I'm in Sydney next Friday. Wonderboy's going to get his first tattoo.
Oh, what's he getting?
No.
He's getting a biblical scene on his forearm.
What biblical scene is that?
What that? Yeah.
Is it Michael and the Lions? Daniel and the Lions.
Yeah, I knew a lady who had the parting of the Red Sea, but we don't want to go there.
You know what I heard the other day, right?
Yeah.
So this forensic pathologist was like, after 30 years of working in the morgue, what he realized was more likely than not, if you came in with a Ned Kelly tattoo, you had died in violent circumstances. And
yes,
then he followed it up by doing like a case study or something like that. And lo and behold, it was like 80% of people that he saw that had a Ned Kelly tattoo had died in violent circumstances.
It'd be same as a Southern Cross tattoo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And like crims in jail that have killed someone, they've got a tear.
Teardrop, yeah.
A teardrop.
I mean, there's a lot of meaning behind tattoos. Like
what's the upside down pineapple?
Luke, you know that. You know.
No, I don't.
You do know.
Mate, if you get that tattoo, you're a lifer.
Is it the Ned for Golden Circle?
Oh my God! Stop. I'm not even playing into that.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been great to see your faces.
Always fun. Well done, guys.
Really good to talk to you. Thank you so much. We'll play some music out, will we, Kelsey, to finish the segment. This has been a live Bonafide podcast. Thank God we don't have to answer to ACMA or a program director.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a great time, you guys.
Good on you, Scotty. Skip up.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Kels.
One of your best, boys.
See ya.
Bye.